Hey guys, once again, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omoyera Oluwatosin, and if you are new to my channel, please support me by clicking on the subscription buttons and also on the notification bell so that once I upload a new video, you'll be among the first person to get the notification. On the channel today, I'll be teaching you how to cut the pattern for this dress that you are seeing on the screen. Without further ado, let's jump straight into why the video was filmed in the first place. And these are the measurements you'll be needing for this tutorial. The materials and tools I'll be using for this tutorial is this African print fabric. You can work with any fabric of your choice. I got a thread that matches the fabric because it is multi color, so I have to choose one thread, so I decided to go with black. I have a tape rule to take my vertical and horizontal measurement, a chalk to rule out my measurement. I have my scissors to cut out my pattern, and I'm going to work with this ruler to roll out my patterns. Next, you want to fold your fabric in such a way that the width of the fold is quarter of your hip plus 4 inches. Now I'm just going in to mark my waist measurement. I'm marking 2 points to get a straight line. The next point I'm marking is my bust point measurement, and from the waistline I'm going to mark the waist to my new measurement. My waist to knee line is 26 inches. I'm going to go up 5 inches from that point to mark a new knee line. So that's the point I'm marking now. After measuring and marking my vertical measurement, I'm going to rule an horizontal line along this mark point. Now this is where we're going to apply all our measurements. So the first thing you want to do, you want to mark your shoulder measurement, and the next, after marking your shoulder measurement, go ahead to mark your neck width. The neck width I'm using for this gown is 3.5 inch. From the shoulder point, I'm going to come down 1 inch to mark 1 inch and connect it to the neck width to get my shoulder slant, because the shoulder is not straight. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to mark your armhole. For this client, I'm going to use 8 inches for my armhole. After marking 8 inches, I'm going to rule a line, an horizontal line along that mark point. So on this line, I'm going to mark 8 inches again and connect my armhole line together. I'm going to connect it to the shoulder point. Find the midpoint of this line and measure in half inch. So what I'm doing is finding half of this line. I'm going to go in half an inch. So on the chest line, you're going to mark quarter of your bust measurements on that line, on the chest line, to drop the armhole. And on the waistline, I'm going to mark quarter of my bust measurements. Now you're going to find midline of this line, side seam, and come in by half an inch. See the way I'm drafting the side seam of this gown. And on the hemline, I'm going to mark quarter of my hip measurement plus 3 inches. So you're going to connect what you have on the waistline to the hemline. So you see me connecting those points with a long ruler. Now that I'm sure that this is what I want, I'm going in to mark my neck depth, which is 3.5 inches as well, to grab the neckline of this pattern. And the next thing you want to do, you want to go in with your French curve or your armhole curve to grab the armhole. You can see the way I draft the armhole. So before you cut, go in and add your seam allowance. I'm using 1 inch seam allowance for this pattern. I'm just going in to add half inch seam allowance at the end because I'm going to attach a gathers at the end of this gown. So I'm going to, after marking, I'm ruling the line for my seam allowance. Next, I'm going in with my scissors to cut out my front pattern piece. After I was done cutting, if you notice I added seam allowance at the top edge, the armhole, and at the side seam. This is what the piece is looking like at the moment. So now we're going to use the front to cut out the back pattern. Fold the fabric and place the front pattern on it like the way I did. The next thing you want to do, you want to extend the shoulder line so that you'll be able to draft the back neckline. So I'm extending the shoulder line like so. On the shoulder line, I'm going to come down 1.5 inches to draft my back neck depth. At the mid armhole, I'm coming out 1/4 inch to draw the back armhole because the front armhole is a bit narrower than the back armhole. Now we are going to cut out our pattern. Next, we are going to cut the back neck depth and slit this center back because we are going to add a zipper at the center back of this dress. After marking the center back, I'm just going in to trim off the hemline so that the front and back pattern will align. The next thing is highlighting the zipper allowance. So after I was done highlighting, I'm going to notch so that when I want to add a zip, I will know where to stitch on. So now I'm notching the upper part and the lower part of the back pattern on the zipper allowance. So this is the back and front pattern. Now we are going to set this aside and work on the sleeve. This is my sleeve. I folded it. What I have here is 9 inches. Remember when we were drafting the armhole, we used 8 inches and I added 1 inch for seam allowance, making 9 inches. This sleeve have a curve. I have minus 2.5 inch from the length of the sleeve for the curve. Now what I have here is the remaining length plus the seam allowance. Next, you want to mark half of your round sleeve measurement on the hem. So that's what I mark here. At the top edge here, you can come down 5 inches for the cap height, or you can just slant in like this to get your 8 inches from the shoulder point. Now I'm just using the other method, which is coming down 5 inches and then drawing my curve into the sleeve. So now we have drafted the sleeve. Next thing you want to do at this point is just to connect the side seam. Now I've connected the side seam. After connecting the side seam, you're going to cut it out. After cutting out the sleeve, this is what you should have. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to indicate the front from the back. Remember the armhole for the front is a bit narrower than the back. All you have to do is to come in 5 inches from the underarm, then go in 1/2 inch to draft the front armhole curve. You can see you just go in and make it a bit narrower so that you know which part to join to the front and which back to join to the back. You can see that when we place it inside, there is a big difference there. So that's that for the sleeve. After cutting the sleeve, the next thing you want to do, you want to cut out the facing. I folded my fabric and came out 2.5 inches from the neck point and down 2.5 inches. You can use 3 inches. So after drawing the point, I connect it with a curve and that's that. Now I'm going to cut the front facing first before cutting the back facing. So this is the neckline, the shoulder slant, and the hem of the facing. This is for the front. Now this is what you should have after cutting the front facing. Now let's work on the back facing. You repeat the same thing you did for the front. Just place one piece of the back on the folded fabric like this and trace out the neckline and neck depth. Remember we came out 2.5 inches and the depth should be 2.5 inches as well. You can use 3 or more depending on the designer preference. So after you're done, you just cut out your facing. That's how to cut a facing for a dress. So this is what you should have. Now we're going to set this aside. The fabric left will be used for the pocket. I'm just making sure that this fabric is enough for the pocket that I'm going to sew at the side of this dress. Now let's work on the collar piece that is going to be on the neckline of this dress. Now you're going to bring the front and back pattern together and you're going to come down on the back pattern by 2.5 inches from the shoulder line like so and overlap it. Please don't overlap the neck point, just the shoulder point like that. You can see I did not overlap the neck point. You can see I'm just placing the tip together at the neck point, but shoulder point is overlapped by 2.5 inches. Now I'm going to place the lace fabric on it. After placing the lace fabric on it like this, you want to go in and mark 6 inches. Now while you are doing it, make sure that the fabric is aligned very well, because this is a fabric that I've used before and it's like I'm revamping it, using it in another design again. I went ahead to cut the lace to make sure that I have a straight line. You can see that the center from the fabric is straight on the center. For now I'm going to mark 6 inches round like so. Just make sure you mark the 6 inches and from the neckline, and remember that you overlap this fabric. Now once you are done marking the line, you're going to go in with your scissors to cut out the pattern for the collar. Please be careful, don't let the overlap shift because it is going to affect the collar. Now that I was sure that this is what I need, it's the same process you will go through. I just want to cut the two pieces at the same time. I folded my lace to cut the two pieces at the same time, so I'm just going in to mark my 6 inches again. Because I want you guys to see what I'm doing, I'm just going to trace out the neckline first. You can see what we have. And after tracing out the neckline, you can now mark your 6 inches. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to go in and mark your 6 inches. Because you are going to put one on this left side and the other color will be on the right side. So now I'm just blending the curve together. I'll go in with my scissors and cut out the pattern. Please be careful, don't cut into your center front. Repeat the same thing at the back before going in to cut the round collar piece. Now you are not going to leave the collar like this, you are still going to cut out the lace flower and use it to design the edge of this collar that you just cut out. So this is all our pattern piece, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumb up, like and share my video, and don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Thanks and have a nice day. Bye.